Graham... Sorry, I'm choking on the remnants of my Pepsi Max here.
We've always got to get that wee sponsorship bit in there, eh?
Absolutely. Get paid no money for it. So.
I wish.
Graham Dorrans has been ruled out for up to 3 months after ankle surgery. Yes.
Yeah. Didn't he do it?
I was watching a documentary on Gaza the other day, and Sean Connery was meeting him at Inside Ibrox, and it was quite funny. It's like, oh, you're tall enough, up, man. Yes, always.
Oh, sorry, mate. I kind of sort of nodded off there. I wasn't quite sure what was you were doing.
Yeah, so Graham Dorrans has been ruled out for up to 3 months after ankle surgery. He limped off in a 1-each draw with Kilmarnock. Indy!
It's the worst impersonation of Gaza I've ever heard.
Who ate all the pies? Who ate all the pies? You fat bastard, you ate all the pies.
And I honestly can't remember Arnold Schwarzenegger ever playing for Rangers.
Put a cookie down! It's been a while since I've done impressions, so I had to do it.
Oh my god. Right, change the subject for fuck's sake. Let me turn the light on first. Holy shit. Oh, I've been sitting in the dark with just the Christmas tree lights on to light the room up.
Are you rustling a bit?
No.
I can hear it's rustling.
Alright, sorry mate.
So yeah,
I was scratching my head, believe it or not, but that's obviously. welcome to the next episode of the I Ready podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek, and with me is my co-host Dave. Good evening, Derek, and as you say, we're getting it out a lot more often these days.
And the pod as well.
Exactly, boom, boom.
We need to change our pattern sometimes.
Predictable as hell, eh? As predictable as ever.
Dave, you're feeling a wee bit rough today, is that right?
Oh, mate, I have a wee bit... to coin an old phrase, I'm as rough as a badger's arse, mate, but it's all self-inflicted due to a works night out last night where I consumed quite a lot of alcohol, so I've not been getting any sympathy at all for the missus or anything like that, but that was to be expected.
Exactly. You never do. See, I don't have that problem because I don't get hangovers or anything like that. So.
Really?
Yeah, never had a hangover in years.
Is that because you pee all out before it gets a chance
quite
to
probably.
go into your system? I must admit, Derek, after all the years, I get slated for how much a weak bladder I've got, but compared to you, it's I've got one of the strongest bladders in the world, I think, mate. But
no wonder I was your new best friend when I joined our work.
Exactly. Somebody that peed very bad.
So enough of this toilet humour. We'll get on to more. We'll get on to shite in a minute.
I know. Are you sure we don't just keep talking about pee and shite and stuff like that before we go into this?
Well, we will be, won't we? So.
I know.
Yes, a couple of games to cover. We're not going to cover them in great depth because, to be honest, I never watched the St Johnstone game back. I'm that pissed off at it, but we'll cover it anyway. We've got a classic match, a good 6-0 win to cover, and a few bits and pieces of news and boardroom news as well. So,
yeah,
we'll go down the tunnel and onto the park.
Oh dear, do we really have to?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes.
So the first game was Wednesday the 13th of December. It was a 2-1 win away against Hibs. We said that at the time that we were kind of under the cosh during most of the game. We probably probably were the second best team in the game. Stats, although, prove it slightly differently, doesn't it?
Yeah, Derek, I was delighted. As I say, as you say, I think Hibs had the vast majority of the ball and the chances and all of that in the game, but just couldn't score another goal to kill us off. I'll let you get into that. But looking back at the stats, Derek, it actually doesn't look too bad, because I did have a look, because I was sick and tired of reading all the journalists, or so-called journalists, saying how much we got battered during the game, and I actually had a wee look at the stats, and it was pretty even Steven at the end of the game, to be perfectly honest with you. But but Hibs did have a lot of the chances, like I said, but I'll let you get into that one.
We never got battered, Dave. We got pumped, apparently.
Aye, I know.
Yeah, it's the only pumping he's ever going to fucking do. Anyway.
If you know.
Aye, well, I know. We lined up anyway, Foderingham, Tavernier, Wilson, Alves, John, McCrory, Holt, Barjonas, Miller, Windass and Morelos. On the subs bench we had Kelly, Hodgson, Bates, Cranchar, Candias, Pena and Herrera. Now, due to technical issues, I missed about the first 20 minutes of the game. So I've only seen basic highlights of the rest of this, but Hibs went 1-0 up on the 9th minute. Pretty poor defending. It was Alves backed off, put in a half-hearted challenge. The ball got passed out to the middle of the box, and he had a good ping, and Alves stuck his leg out and it deflected into the back of the net. Can he maybe blame him too much for the deflection, but certainly for an experienced defender like that, backing off so much when you're going into the box, it was just piss poor, wasn't it?
He had a poor first half, Derek. He had a very poor first half. Certainly not the same player that we saw in the game against Aberdeen at Ibrox, where he was outstanding. Very poor in the first half. He got a lot better in the second half, to be fair to him, but certainly in the first half it was very, very poor by his standards. Yep.
On the 13th minute as well, we went a man down to an extent. We had to sub on Candias for Miller, who picked up a knock, and we've since found out that he's going to be out for a considerable length of time with a ruptured hamstring, I believe.
Yep.
So certainly never want to see a player injured, and potentially that's maybe his career at Rangers over, given the period of time he might be out. But certainly it's going to hopefully bring a wee bit better play to, rather than him dropping back off. But we will get into that in the next game as well.
Yep.
I missed a wee bit more of the game after that. From what I heard on the radio and what I've seen on the commentary and what I've heard of friends, we were kind of under the cosh for a lot of it. We just weren't up for the game at all. Hibs certainly looked like the better team. We were just dithering about by the sound of it.
Yep.
Pretty much completely against the run of play. We scored a cracking goal on the 42nd minute with Dean Windass.
I know.
Josh Windass, lovely pass from Holt to Windass in the middle of the top third of the Hibs half, from about 20 yards out. Windass takes the ball, hits a shot on the edge of the box and past the keeper. Fantastic vision from Holt to find the pass, and great goal from Windass as well.
It was a brilliant goal, Derek. A guy who's really high on confidence just now. I think if that had been him maybe a month ago, he would have completely missed that, but really in form. And as soon as we scored that goal, Derek, that was us. I think we were, the players got a total lift for that, and as you say, it kind of came out and a great ball through by Holt and a fantastic finish by Windass, so absolutely superb.
Yep, so we're quite chuffed that we're going to go into the half time at one each, considering how badly we'd played up until that point. But then we went 2-1 up. Morelos got the goal. He got the ball on the edge of the box on the right hand side, takes the ball in, takes on the player, skins him, pulls it back again, skins him again, pulls it forward and hits a shot from a tight angle into the back of the net. Poor for the keeper, but certainly brilliant from Morelos.
The goalkeeper, I think, was sure that he was going to try and cut it back across, Derek, where he didn't, because and it just shows you, if you're he's desperate to score goals, which is great, so really greedy when it comes to these things. And to be fair to him, he must have spotted that the goalkeeper was going to maybe dive across, and he left that space. He's near post, so he fired it in. So I'm absolutely delighted for him as well, getting back in the goals.
Yep. Into half time, delighted obviously, going up, going 2-1 in front. We expected Hibs to come back out, but we expected us to play a wee bit better, and to an extent we played a defensive game. We eventually doubled up on players at the back towards the half. I mean, it was good from Murty noticing how far Hibs were getting forward. We had to double up and tighten up a wee bit. I'm always wary when we do tighten up like that and play the defensive game, because we invite teams onto us, and I never feel that we do our best football when we do that. But he changed it anyway. Barjonas came off and Bates came on. I think that was on the 71st minute. Throughout the half, there was a few different chances for Hibs. They hit the post twice from the Man City loan player. I think, what was his name again?
Oh, I can't remember. He looked quite a good player, actually. He caused us a lot of problems, that guy.
Yeah. We had a chance here and there, but it was never really anything. Nothing came to it, to be honest. There was nothing clear cut. And again, as I said, stats kind of don't lie in that respect. It was 50-50 possession. We had more shots than Hibs. Yep. Obviously, they hit the post twice, but that doesn't count as shots on target. And we largely contained them, which was impressive.
Morelos had a couple of really good chances. Derek, by his standards, really should have scored. They'd won early in the match, and they had a really good chance the second half as well. But as you say, Hibs had their chances as well, so pretty even Steven in the second half in total.
Yeah, so full time and we won 2-1, which was fantastic. Couldn't believe it, going 4 games on the trot, given the fact that we had played. Obviously, I think most people's initial reaction is we did, get fair and squarely. I would have said, we were kind of lucky to get away with that one, especially when, and no be about the bush here, Hibs should have had a penalty when the ball came off. Was it Bates' hand, I think?
Yes, Bates, yep.
Yeah, the referee was probably unsighted, but the linesman certainly should have seen it. And obviously after the game, Neil Lennon got interviewed, and the first question put to him was, you must feel aggrieved not to come away with anything after playing so well. And the first thing he says was, we should have had a penalty. Right, but when Celtic...
I know, it's your old saying, Derek, that you've been saying so many times, you need to score the penalty.
Yeah.
That's no the same as we should have had a goal. So they should have had the opportunity to score it. But Derek, look at everything that happened. Over the course of the season, these things happened, and we've had absolutely no luck. It's about the first bit of luck that we've had all season. Let's be honest. So
exactly.
I'm grabbing it with both hands, big time.
So as what keeps getting pointed out to us, these things come and go for you throughout the season.
Yeah.
So fuck them. So yeah, can't disagree with that, and I couldn't believe this stat as well. Even Celtic this year haven't went 4 games in a trot. We're the only team in the league so far this year to have won 4
in a row. I didn't know that, Derek. There you go. Didn't know
that. Pretty impressive, but
well, it was up to that point.
Yes. Our optimism was very much misplaced for the next game. Saturday, the 16th of December, we lost 3-1 to St Johnstone at home. I never even watched the game back. I was that disgusted with it. I am absolutely raging at these players. They played, I wouldn't even say they played well for 5 minutes. They played acceptable and they got the goal. It was Morelos.
It was Morelos, yep.
Yep, another good pass through, and he got the ball through and he slotted it home. But other than that, we were absolutely disgraceful for the full half. There's only maybe 1 or 2 players that could come out with anything. I would say McCrory, he wasn't his usual self certainly, but he was
certainly he was the best of a bad bunch, Derek. He really was. I was really disappointed. There were a lot of our more experienced and bigger name players just really did not look interested, Derek. They did not. I've never, we are expecting a player like Bruno Alves, who was given the captain's armband. We're expecting that guy to be, the complete professional here. He was given the captain's armband for the game. We were expecting him to lead by example, and in all the games that he's played for us, Derek, he really did not look interested in playing in that game one bit. And some of his lackadaisical play was just shocking, and it cost us in defence as well. Him and Wilson were very, very poor at the back, considering Wilson's been in the team a lot recently and he's had some decent performances. The two of them were absolutely abysmal in defence for us. They just could not win anything, or they didn't seem to be looking that even that bothered. when we were going goals down, when it got to 2 and 3, when it got to the third goal, the two of them, you could just see the two of them. It was like, oh well, I really didn't care. It's like, and I don't know if that's Alves' problem, Derek, against the so-called smaller teams, that he says to his Sellark, well, there's no point in me trying here. I didn't have to. This is a team that that we're going to beat. I don't know if that's the problem or no, but too many, and they're two players who I singled out just because I thought every single time St Johnstone got forward, they looked as if they were going to score.
Yeah. I mean, Alves' passing forward was just so bad. He was just lumping long balls up. I wasn't even looking where he was passing to, lumping up. That's not the way he plays. And for a player, as I said to you, or as I said on Twitter, I think his head's gone. The fact that he's came out in the media and categorically said, I might need to look at other options if I'm not getting regular game time to make sure I keep my place for the Portugal World Cup squad. If you're coming out in the media, even before Christmas, saying that when you are getting your game, you've been injured, and you're still getting your game though after it and before it, and coming away with shit like that, you're not interested. And I think it's a shame to say, but I think pretty much most of the players that Caixinha has signed have had that same attitude. Herrera has been, he's came on as a sub, 20 odd times I think now, but he's offered nothing when he's came on. Peña, there's something there, but there's something
there is, and I think that Peña is somebody that we really need to persevere with, because I do think that he could be a top player for us. I just every time I watch him, he's just and it's been getting said a lot in the other pods. The other guys in the other pods have been saying the same, but there is definitely something there, and he can score goals. So I definitely, if there's a way to getting him playing well, we should be playing him regularly. Maybe with Kenny Miller being out now, Derek, he might start to play more often, but I was quite surprised that he didn't feature against St Johnstone there. But no, I definitely do think. But as you say, the rest of them, I don't know. With Alves, is it the fact that he signed, and was Pedro a huge part in his decision? He signed for Rangers now that he's away. He's saying to his seller, well, I need to get out of here. I honestly don't know.
You would think, though, that if he's coming out and saying that he wants either to get to a club to play football and he wants away, or he wants to play football or football regularly with us, then he should be bloody trying harder than that to get his place in the squad. And the one person I'm really annoyed at is Candias, though, because see when he wants to play, he's brilliant. But he's crossing over the last maybe 3 or 4, 5 games has been shit, and his attitude, I think, has been wanting as well. See when he's kind of in the middle of the park, just doesn't seem to want to play. He doesn't seem to want to move his arse, and he seems so lackadaisical when it comes to it. But then see when he gets the ball down the wing, he'll charge down the wing, and he'll put a shit cross in half the time. So Morelos is the only one who seemed to be trying in that game, and I would give Windass maybe slight pass marks as well for that, because he was trying to get in there. Leads me on to my next point, Dave. We've obviously criticised, and a lot of people have criticised Kenny Miller for dropping so far deep this year into midfield, into defence at times as well. However, in that game, we've seen both Windass and Morelos drop completely out of position so many times. They went from midfield, they went into defence, they went down to the wings as well at certain passages of play. Is it the case where, and I suspected this before and I think I mentioned it, is it the case that the midfield are not doing their job, so the attackers feel they need to drop them back in?
I think, well, again, Derek, maybe that comes back to how Graham Murray likes to play this formation with the 4 guys in midfield playing in that sort of diamond formation with McCrory at the bottom and Holt and Jack playing as the sort of next 2 sort of willing runners in midfield. And when he had Peña playing in that role at the top of the diamond, just behind the strikers, you were finding that the strikers weren't dropping that far back because there was somebody in there. Whereas on Saturdays, you say, with Candace being playing in that position and no looking interested when he was there, you're finding that these guys are dropping back. This is the way I see it anyway. They're dropping back to try and pick the ball up and try and get things moving because they can't see it, which is where we should maybe be concentrating on Peña playing in that position, or somebody with a bit of creativity playing in that role. I know he brought on I know he brought on Cranshaw for the first time, in a long time. He came on, but he couldn't get into the game at all. But he's been out that long, Derek. That it's he couldn't get there. But maybe playing Penny a wee extended run in the team, playing in that position, you would maybe see the best out of your strikers. What about Michael O'Halloran coming back? Or I don't know if any of the other loan players that we let out are coming back, but I know that O'Halloran's supposed to be coming back at the start of the year. Do you think that that's maybe a position that he could play in just behind the strikers?
Quite possibly, but we obviously don't know what's happening with these players. I mean, there was Harry Forrester there as well. I think both of us thought there's a player there as well.
Yeah, definitely, yep.
I mean, from what I heard, is he was dropped because of his attitude in training. Well, he was the one that was very up for it all the time on the park, as far as I could see. So there's another. So there's a lot of clarity needs to happen, and that's not going to happen until we've got a manager, which we'll get onto as well. But it's extremely disappointing. I am fucking raging with the players. I'm glad I never got the chance to do a reaction pod on Saturday. I may have got banned from YouTube. I actually left the game on the 77th minute. I had to get home to get changed and everything to go out. But, I certainly never missed much from what I've heard as well. I think we had a wee chance that went just by the post, and that was about it. So I never missed much. Weirdly, I said to my mate going up there, obviously full of confidence. I said to him, I'll need to leave maybe 5 minutes early. I said, best case scenario, there's a 2-goal cushion round about the 80th minute, and then I can quite happily go a wee bit earlier. And I wasn't expecting the 2-goal cushion to be the other way. So.
Exactly, I know. It's and then that result going by the other results in the league as well, it was really poor because Aberdeen have now leapfrogged us, and of course Celtic got absolutely annihilated by Hearts, which could have closed the gap on them even more. But as it stands, we fucked it up, and Aberdeen are now back into second place.
Yep, so it leaves us in third place. Played 19, won 11, drawn 3, lost 5, scored 38, conceded 23, goal difference plus 15, and points 36. As you said, Aberdeen are now back in second. They're 3 points above us. We're still 5 points behind Celtic, but they've got a game in hand. And fortunately, with Hibs getting pumped there, yes, Neil Lennon, that's what you call a pumping, 4-1. They are sitting 6 points behind us in fourth place. Games to come. We have got... The next game is Saturday, the 23rd of December. That's away to Kilmarnock, which is on TV, which is a 12:30 kick-off. We have got a game on Wednesday, the 27th of December, which is against Motherwell. That's at home, which is a 19:45 kick-off. And the next game after that is Saturday, the 30th of December. That's the Old Firm game. Last game before the winter break, and that's a 12 o'clock midday kick-off. So hopefully we'll have a pod out just before the Celtic game.
Yeah.
Yep.
How do you see these next games going, Derek? Even just the next two games, we are going away, as you say, to Kilmarnock. Now, Kilmarnock are, very much one of the informed teams in the league at the moment. They're flying now. I think Steve Clarke is doing a great job with them. He's getting them, their confidence is sky high. I think that's going to be a really difficult game for us playing up there. But at the same time, I could see Kilmarnock going for it, which could maybe leave some space behind. If our defence really needs to turn up for that game, because I think there could be, we could be in some bother. And then, did you say the next game after that's a home game against Motherwell? A game that we really should be winning.
Yep.
But our home form is just that bad to know that we don't know what sort of team's going to turn up. So I think we've got a couple of really difficult games there. We'll just have to wait and see. I think the Kilmarnock game's going to be a hard one. I hope I'm wrong, but I think I think that's going to be quite a difficult game for us.
Well, they've had 3 wins and a draw their last 4 games. Motherwell have had 4 losses. So So
we'll beat Kilmarnock, no bother, and we'll get beat by Motherwell. Is that what you're saying?
Quite probably. As folks said, there's no point beating, the Aberdeens and the Hibs if you can't then go out and beat St Johnstone, who were on a pretty ropey form, as of late. So it's pretty dire. It kind of leads into The manager situation, again, we're still with Murty. You did see against Hibs, he did have the mind to change it. But again, you can't blame Murty because it's quite clear that on the park at the weekend it was
he
the
got
players.
Dunby's players, big time. And as I say, I think if just even a couple of the players, especially in defence, had have been, on their A game, we wouldn't have lost 3 goals. We might not have scored another goal, but we certainly wouldn't have lost 3 goals. So I think he was let down quite badly, especially by his defence.
Yep. Murty has obviously came out and said he's been speaking to Walter Smith every so often as well and giving him good advice, so it's always good to see. There's folk still on about trying to get bloody Walter Smith back in the manager's seat, and even talking about Graham Souness, who's already just came out and says no, he's never going back into management. So
I know.
Some fans do my tits in sometimes.
I know.
The next one here, and it's again the media leading it, is Tony Pulis. Has obviously been lined up to be the next favourite. However, rumours are tonight that he's about to be joining Stoke City because Mark Hughes is going to get sacked, and it's a case of Mark Hughes is now the next favourite to be the Rangers manager. So,
the manager merry-go-round day. So again, it's all speculation, Derek. It's it's something I don't know. We're all second guessing the board just now, aren't we? The board are getting a lot of stick at the moment, and that's just another thing that the fans are putting the boot into about the managerial situation as well. So we'll just have to wait and see, Derek. But there's going to be that'll not be the end of it. There'll be, I can guarantee you, by before we play Celtic, there'll have been at least another 3 managers. I'll all be quoted as being the favourites to to become the next boss. So we'll just have to wait and see.
I think there's also talk that the fact that the director of football, Mark Allen, his first choice was Steve McLaren, but the board vetoed that. Now,
really?
There's a lot of talk about, obviously, well, what's his role then, and that's really what the board's playing at, which is quite correct. The one thing I will give Charles Green credit for, and why did I say that? But the one thing I will give him credit for, though, is he did, when he set up the new style of management, as it were, he did set up an executive board and a footballing board to obviously oversee the footballing decisions, and quite clearly he wasn't doing it for the correct reasons, but he did set that up. And for me, then that should really go back to that. We need to have footballing people on the footballing board making the decisions about football. Let the likes of the Three Bears and Dave King run the business side of it, because then that wouldn't have happened then, and we wouldn't have potentially had the last 2 managers who have ended up being farcical, being decided by people who really don't know about football. What's your opinion on that?
I don't know. The Mark Warburton, Derek, I don't think was a bad decision, going on everything that he'd done, going on the fact we were in the Championship. He was there in the Championship to get us promoted, and he'd done it no bother. And at the beginning, everything was rosy when Mark Warburton was there. It looked as if we were going in the right direction, but again, it came down to his he's basically just his one style of play that let him down, and not being willing to change the way that they played, and they were in a rut and it wasn't going to change, so that was kind of forced on them. Caixinha one was just bizarre and total. I mean, we were desperate for the guy to do well, but it was just out of nowhere appointment, and nobody knew anything about him, and then it, as I say, ended up going badly, like I think we all deep down thought that it was going to. We were hoping it wasn't, but we kind of all thought it would. So it is a strange one, and I get where you're coming from, that it was there, but I'm just still quite alarmed the fact that you've just said that his first choice was going to be Steve McLaren, because I didn't fancy him as being the manager, so maybe that was a good thing. So maybe the board have done a good turn there, because I didn't fancy McLaren at all as being there. I think he's a guy that cracks under pressure big time. So, and I don't think he'll have. I know he was the England manager, Derek, but the amount of pressure and scrutiny that he's under he would have been up here would have been incredible. He would be getting it, week after week after week up here. So I don't think that he would have been the right man. So maybe they've done us a favour there. But I can see where you're coming from as well with that. But again, I don't know if if that's something that is going to be happening again. If there is going to be a footballing board and a non-footballing board, I don't know if they'll bring that back in or not. Would you? I take it you would prefer that, aye?
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly if this current board have got very little knowledge about the footballing side of it, then you need to have people who can make decisions on a footballing basis. Certainly it kind of undermines the director of football if he's been put in his position and you're not running it the way a director of football is meant to be. And I don't give into this whole, rumour and speculation that one of the reasons why Derek McInnes didn't want the job is because of the director of football. It's very narrow-minded if that is the case, and it works down south, it works in the continent, that's what you've got to do. But again, it might be because we are utilising the director of football wrong, and there's been currently the Heart and Hand pod, there's rumours that there's a bit of unrest between the two camps of
right.
Mark Allen and the board and what's going on, so we'll just need to wait and see.
Again, though, Derek, I think that is common. That's commonplace in any team, in any club that's got a director of football. That there is usually always a conflict between the board and the director of football, because the director of football will have plans set in place that he'll need money, to carry out, and the board are like, no, well, you're not getting money. That's what we've set out. I think that's pretty common in the vast majority of teams that have got a director of football. So you've got to kind of expect that quite a lot, that there will be conflict between the board and him. Just because it usually just always comes down to money or targets, or what the board think that you need and what the director of football thinks you need. So it's quite common practice. It just have to actually see who works out better if they can get a sort of good relationship. But I've heard those rumours as well that you heard. So again, we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. We're really hoping that it does all work, because it is kind of new. It's new for Scottish football anyway, so we're all determined that it's going to work, and I really hope it does.
Yeah. So we're kind of going into the realms of the boardroom here, so we may as well go into the boardroom section.
Okay.
What's been released tonight, the first thing I've got here is basically Club 1872 had a meeting with Stuart Robertson in relation to the questions at the AGM that were kind of underlying. I'm just going to quickly run through my opinion here and the questions in relation to them.
Now, Derek, this is the first time I'm hearing this. I've seen some snippets on Twitter, because I've been on the go all day. I've seen some snippets on Twitter, but this is the first that I'm hearing, what was actually said. So I'll let you get fired into that.
All right. I mean, the one caveat I want to put to this is they've released this. I've seen it online. I've managed to get the PDF of it. I don't know how the format of these answers have been given in terms of, is that verbatim or is that just a minuted version of it, like a shorthanded version of it? Because the way it's getting picked up on Twitter is if this is the replies, then it's very curt, it's very dismissive, which I would say is probably correct. But given the questions, I'll get into my opinion in a moment.
Right, okay.
But there's a range of questions here. The first one was about the retail agreement and why wasn't it told that at the time there was a £3 million severance payment to Sports Direct and Mike Ashley. Well, that was asked and answered in the actual AGM. There was a confidentiality agreement in relation to that, and the first time they could give it was, they actually do that legally, was obviously in the accounts. That's when we found that out. Next question was about the board's plan to grow the business, retail and aspect of the business future. They're obviously talking about the negotiations with Sports Direct and is it better to have an alternative. Again, that was asked and answered in the AGM. That was all about, there's a confidentiality agreement in there, and there was something to do with Puma as well, and obviously Sports Direct, that they can't go into direct talks with another competitor until the deal runs out. They can look about, but they can't actually go and speak to people. So we're going to need to wait. That was asked and answered at the time. Next one, recent accounts showed that the sponsorship income of 1.5 million versus Aberdeen's 1.8 million. What are the board doing to address this, particularly given the favourable market size in Rangers? Valid question. I'm not going to argue about that. But it has been highlighted in the accounts already, the fact that, we've grown 130% over the last year. So it's been asked and answered. However, they could have probably expanded it a wee bit more and saying what they're going to do about that. So I'll give them that. Next question. Recently, a new member of the executive club was announced on social media with a photo that was taken on a mobile phone in what appears to be a field with Josh Windass in a pair of flip-flops. How does the club expect to attract a higher calibre of commercial partnership when this is the public face being presented? And what has been done to enhance the better communicate to the Rangers brand to potential new partners? Now, I'm not aware of this picture, so I can't really comment about it, to be honest. But if that is the case, if you've announced something like that in relation to that, and you've done such an unprofessional job, then that's poor. They have said that there's a new the post of Director of Marketing and Corporate Communications was advertised and has now been filled. A formal announcement confirming this appointment will be made shortly. So it looks as if they have taken the steps to rectify these kind of things. So based on the commercial things there, what's your thoughts?
Well, as you say, there was a lot said about the confidentiality clause and the fact that we couldn't talk about any potential deals coming up until the current deal, was finished. I thought that was pretty self-explanatory, Derek. So again, like you, a bit of a strange question to ask, and considering that we already kind of knew that's what we were going to get told. Valid point about the sponsorship deal, that with the likes of what Aberdeen's got compared to what we've got as well, is definitely something that, we need to look at. We should be able to get, a hell of a lot more than just about any other club in the whole of Scotland should be getting, just because of the amount of TV time we've got, the amount of fans that we've got, the stadium that we've got, and the fact that we're known all over the world. So we should be, that should be a key point. Hopefully that will get addressed. The whole thing with the media and marketing, that is something vital, I think. I mean, as they did say as well, it's something that we feel that we've really lost out on in the last few years. That should have been, we should be a lot more transparency that way, especially with the fans, as to the way forward and the way that we're portrayed, in the news and in social media and everything. We should be, at the forefront, with a lot of these things, the way that a lot of other clubs do that we've known. So hopefully that's going to get addressed as well. But really not a lot answered there, Derek, to be perfectly honest, was there?
I don't think that there had to be a lot answered there for the fact that it was already asked and answered. Now, they did make point on the kind of commercial thing, saying that the club was tied into certain legacy deals which were restricted its ability to grow the sponsorship and income short term. However, as these come to an end, it's anticipated this figure will grow, and the current year is expected to show a further increase. That is self-fucking evident from what the crazy deals that were put in place, and the amount of hassle that it's had to try and get out of these deals. That is self-evident, and that's been documented clearly time after time after time. And given the fact that Ashley has taken people to court over the least wee thing before, do you really want to try and break a confidentiality agreement with him going to breathe down our neck again? Because quite literally he would have probably put something, I mean obviously I don't know this for certain, but can you be certain that he's not put some sort of rider in that? If the confidentiality agreement's broke, then the contract stands?
Possibly.
Do you really want to go down that route?
No.
I think people are wanting a wee bit too much there in respect to that. The deals are coming to the end of the year. If at the end of the year there is not a substantial thing, then absolutely, rile right into the board. Going into the financial situation here, in the event of the takeover panel is successful in obtaining an order against their club chairman, can the board advise how this might affect any investment planned for the club, specifically in terms of the proposed share issue? Now, that again was kind of asked and answered in relation to the AGM, I believe. The club have nothing to do with that. It's a Dave King thing personally, but yes, it will have implications for the club because of he will need to, obviously, if the takeover panel win that, he will then need to go into a formal offer for all the shares or whatever vehicle he wants to try and use for that. So. As the board have said, they're still waiting the decision. They can't really speak in hypotheticals now, and it would be, I think, improper to do that. You know, so they need to wait and see what's the situation, and then they'll see. They've said it's, you know, that any proposed share issue will not be impacted regardless. Next thing was, with the accounts being identified, the funding of £7.2 million being required till the end of the season. When did the board forecast that the club will become self-sustaining, and what is the plan to convert loans to equity? Will it be staggered and done in totality in the next share issue? Again, kind of asked and answered at the AGM.
At the AGM, it was.
They said at the AGM quite clearly that the club don't expect to be self-sustaining until European football is a regular thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They said briefly, maybe not in great depth, about the loans being converted to equity, but they did kind of mention, because we mentioned it in the last podcast, that not all of them will be converted and some of them will be still outstanding loans. So, again, asked and answered.
Yeah.
So Stuart Robertson's basically said that, you know, European football, that's going to be the whole long and short of it. Next question. The most recent financial results are encouraging but highlight the staggering gulf between us and our nearest competition. Can this board please outline how they plan to deal with the substantial deficit going forward? Again, what else do you want to know? The club will not be self-sustaining until European football is a regular thing again. So if we're not self-sustaining, we can't close the deficit, can we?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Unless we get outside investment. So again, they've kind of highlighted the majority of the deficit is accounted through qualification for the Champions League group stages. Other income streams such as retail revenue and commercial income are increasing. However, it needs to be a recognition of just how valuable qualification the European stage is, and it's worth around about €30 million plus associated gate monies. So we've already talked about the fact that the retail money is improving, it will get better, and we'll obviously be looking into other avenues once the existing deals run out. And they've already answered about Champions League money. So there's only a few more questions here, to be honest. But I just want to highlight the fact that the board have got serious questions to answer, and especially about this next section here. But it's about asking the same questions again, which have already been answered. You might want more detail, but if there's things like confidentiality agreements, then you're not going to get more detail. PR, that's the next big one. What have the club done to resolve the ongoing issues with the BBC Scotland? Blah, blah, blah. The club has been continues to be in dialogue with its senior members of the BBC, and they're exploring ways which the dispute can be resolved to the satisfaction of the club and supporters. When you are in a dispute with anyone, you do not go public with it, do you? You don't go public with all the individual talks that you have. That's just something that's not done. So you're never going to hear about all the individual talks and all that. Absolutely, the thing is an absolute joke. We're paying for the BBC out of our own tax money, and we're not getting covered properly and fairly represented by BBC Scotland, and they've refused to cover us rather than us banning them. So that needs to get sorted out. But it's now getting to the stage where fans are like, they've been before, fuck them, they can go and fuck themselves. And now it's a case of, right, we need them. So I don't know what to say about that. Next one here is kind of going on to the back of this here. Given the volume of lies that have been published and broadcast daily about our club, when are the directors going to accept a more robust stance with our detractors in the media, as the current policy, just like its predecessors, seems to be failing miserably? Is the current PR strategy directed by Level 5 or the board and the executive team? This is the one I've got a valid gripe about, in terms of a valid point about, Level 5 are apparently, according to the board, assist greatly on this front, and much of the work goes unseen. Rangers could challenge media outlets every day, but that would serve no positive purpose. When reporting is malicious or vindictive, and those responsible and their employers are challenged, but this is done through the appropriate channels. Again, Rangers... and we've been pilloried about it in the past, this season even, when we've went after these outlets publicly, we've been hammered for it by the other media outlets. So we've went down the correct channels to do it. So it's basically complained to the Ombudsman, etc., etc. But the whole point about Level 5 assisting greatly, well, really, because that statement the other night with about Derek McInnes never really, never really helped matters, did it?
No, definitely not. And we just get the feeling, Derek, that the main man in charge there is kind of using that to, fight his personal battles that he's had with, a lot of the guys in the media, and that's not really what we're looking for, Derek, is it? We're looking for somebody to be in there, to be writing and putting forward valid statements about our club for, that this, to keep the supporters well informed, and we're basically not getting that, are we?
So, I mean, that's the one that I've got they've got certainly a good valid point against, because Level 5 are not assisting us greatly in anything. Yeah, they might be doing things behind the scenes, but, that's no really help for us when we're still getting pilloried by the certain sections of the media. So, we'll wait and see on that one. Just the last few questions here is kind of general questions. Are the club going to seriously consider giving fans safe standing area? No, again. I mean, seriously, that has been done to death. They've already said, and they've had to say it again, a costed feasibility study has been received regarding the introduction of safe standing to Ibrox. Next stage will involve the appraisal of the financial impact and ascertaining the level of demand for safe standing section among the season ticket holders. Now, the big key point there is the financial impact. It's going to have a drastic financial impact in terms of money in, and in the amount of money that's going to have to get spent to put it in. We're not in a position right now to do that, I don't think. That's up to the board to decide if they want to go ahead with that, with or without proper financial backing or whatever. So, again, been done to death, that question.
Yeah.
Last year's AGM, Dave King mentioned that the club was looking to bring in new directors. Are they any closer to achieving this? Well, I know that was maybe a question that was pre Barry Scott getting appointed, but they've just said that Alistair Johnson has joined the board earlier this year, and Barry Scott was appointed to the RIFC PLC board following the AGM, which we reported on last podcast. So, done and dusted. You can't argue about that question.
No.
Now, for this third time, is it possible to reduce the ticket allocation for the visiting Celtic fans and relocate them in the corner section? How many times are we going to have to go over this? Nobody fucking complained about the Celtic fans and getting that whole stand when we were winning, were they?
No.
So that was being asked twice at the AGM. That shouldn't even been put forward for a question that's still outstanding, because it's been asked and answered twice. I'm getting pissed off now. So again, they've said, as mentioned in the EGM, there'll be no reduction in the short term.
No.
I'm not going to cover the rest of it because it's really a load of shit here, to be honest.
As you say, Derek, the vast majority of the questions, vast majority of the questions had kind of been covered already at the AGM and answered. So, there was a lot of things there. I don't know if this is Club 1872, just sort of... I didn't like slagging them off, Derek, because they are there in their own way to try and do what's best for them and everybody that's associated. But was this a way of them sort of trying to prove to people, oh well, we got our meeting, with the board, did we ask the questions that we thought that they needed to be answered, even if a lot of them had been asked already? Was that just all that was? Was it an exercise just to show, well, this is what we can do? We can get a meeting with the board. Is that all it was, or do you think that they were there for genuinely there to try and get questions answered? I find it all strange. I thought when you were going to come out there was going to be a lot of really important questions that hadn't been asked already, and that's not been the case.
No. The last question, the second last question that they've got here is, given that the Club 1872 is now the second largest shareholder, are the Rangers board open to the idea of having a Club 1872 representative on the Rangers board? Now, we kind of... I mentioned about this last week about the potential conflict there about them getting told they're too cosy to the board. Then you've got a potential Club 1872 representative on the board. Then, well, that's definitely cosy. Then Rangers came back and said no such candidate has been proposed to our IFC to date, so no consideration has been given to this. So it's basically a case of, well, you give us a candidate you want to put on the board and we'll have a look at it. So It's not saying no to it, but it's not saying yes to it. It's basically saying Club 1872, get your finger out your arse and do it. And to be quite honest with you, since its inception, it's quite clearly been an absolute farce of an organisation. I'm not going to there's going to be people that's going to disagree and argue with me about this, but this is my own personal feeling. They can't sort their own board out, so why should they have a representative on the main Rangers board? That's just my feeling right now.
As you say, I think maybe the board have answered that one quite intelligently, basically saying if you can find somebody suitable enough to come on, then we'll certainly consider it and possibly go with it. But again, it's just going to have to wait and see who they would propose to go on, to go on the board. So maybe a sort of smart move by the board to do that and see what happens. But as you say, they're coming under a lot of criticism, for not being able to get themselves sorted out. So we can't really expect much, from putting somebody in to actually go on the board that's going to be suitable enough. Hope maybe they will have, Derek, I don't know, but it's as you say, I think there's a lot of getting your own house in order first, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, the board, the Rangers board, as came under obviously a lot of criticism as well, and it's mainly because of the on the field issues. So again, it kind of leads back to, well, do we need a footballing board who are going to deal solely on the footballing decisions rather than that? Because in terms of all the off-field stuff, in terms of all the business thing and the way the accounts have gone, it all seems to be going fairly well in that respect. Mm-hmm. So, as I said, the criticism the Rangers board are getting now are because of the on-field issues, which includes, I'm going to include obviously the manager's issues with that, obviously with Warburton and Kashinya, and now the whole issue with finding a manager now. So it's one we're going to wait and see. The boardroom section was only meant to be 2 points this week, and it's turned into about 20 minutes.
I know,
so
as usual.
We're going to leave it there, and we're going to go into the classic match.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
So, Dave, you've got a 6-0 hammer to give us, haven't you?
Yes, Derek. Now, as you know, very busy for me today, so I had to try and find a game very quickly, and I'm so glad that I found this one. Wasn't for too long ago, Derek, but it's still a classic match, and it was from 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago, the 12th of February 2011. Rangers took on Motherwell that day, and the Rangers team that played, a lot of familiar names here: Alan McGregor, Stephen Whittaker, Sasa Papac, Majid Bugera, David Weir, Stephen Davis, Kyle Bartley, Stephen Naismith, Elhaj Diouf, Vladimir Weiss and Nikita Jelavic. So some absolutely fantastic players on show there, Derek. A lot of guys who had been very successful with the club, and a lot of them who are still playing. Basically the game started, Motherwell actually quite fancied their chances in this game. They had a couple of chances from long range, but it was Elhaj Diouf who had the first real chance for Rangers. He was put through a great sort of pass. He played a 1-to-1 with Vladimir Weiss, and then he was played through 1-on-1 with the keeper. He tried to sort of hit the ball with it outside his left foot to sort of curl it into the bottom, but ended up putting it well wide. But we only had to wait 5 minutes for us to open the scoring.
Weiss seeing plenty of the ball in the opening stages and threatening constantly, picks himself back up. There's Stephen Naismith, it's 1-0. Diouf missed the earlier chance. Naismith makes no mistake after 5 minutes, and Weiss, who's been a constant torment, creates the opening goal.
5 minutes on the clock, it was Vladimir Weiss on the left hand side. He beat his man, and then he beat him again, and he got fouled, but he picked the ball up still. The referee waved play on, and he played in a fantastic low cross, spotted Stephen Naismith making the run near post, and Stephen Naismith slides in, bang, 1-0 to Rangers. Great goal. And then not too long after that, another chance, Vladimir Weiss to Nikita Jelavic at the back post. He had a turn sort of spun round and shot. Didn't get a lot of power on it, but the ball sort of trundled right past both posts and out. If anybody had been just up there in the sort of poaching position, it would just have been a tap in. So it was unlucky. Motherwell then had two sort of good chances. One of their strikers, I don't know if it was Sutton or not, hit the side netting, and then they had a very close range header which was just over the bar. So sort of teetering at that point, still 1-0, Motherwell creating a few chances, but then on the 34th minute we got our second goal.
Here's Kyle Bartley through for Stephen Whittaker, and if he can get this in for Jelavic, it's surely 2-0. Nikita Jelavic strikes, and it's a sucker punch at the end of Motherwell's best spell in the first half, and suddenly Rangers extend their advantage. Bartley to Whittaker, easy for Jelavic.
Kyle Bartley plays the ball on to Stephen Whittaker on the right hand side, who spots Jelavic through the middle. Great pass through to him, bang, scores the second goal. 2-0 to Rangers cruising, and then only 2.5 minutes after that we actually scored again.
Weiss with the free kick. There's Jelavic, not picked up, and it's 2 goals in 2.5 minutes for Nikita Jelavic, and Rangers home and hosed already, it seems.
Kyle Bartley getting more and more into the game. He had a very good game this game. Kyle Bartley runs into the corner of the box. He's brought down just at the corner of the box, and for the free kick for Vladimir Weiss, he chips the ball into Nikita Jelavic at the back post, and he pokes the ball home to make it 3-0 and 2 goals for Jelavic. Just after that, before half time, Kyle Bartley had a great run into the box. Nikita Jelavic spots his run, chips the ball through, but just misses the header just before half time. Could have been 4-0, but then into the second half, notable change for Rangers. John Fleck came on for Stephen Naismith, and we basically just started where we left off in the first half. Sasa Papac onto Jelavic on the left, a chipped cross into the back for Fleck. He had a header, really should have scored it. A bit of a sitter there. He put it just wide and high, the goal, but really should have scored there. Then Motherwell had a wee chance, a long range shot which was deflected, which forced McGregor to pull off a fantastic save. It was going right at him, and then at the last minute takes a deflection away from him, but a fantastic save by him. And then for his debut, David Healy actually came on for El Hadj Diouf. He was fulfilling his dream of playing for his club, David Healy, so we're all delighted that he got his chance to play. And Stephen Davis to Vladimir Weiss, a great play here on to Stephen Whittaker on the right. He had a low cross right into the back post, back to Stephen Davis again, who had a back heel. The ball was going in and it just deflected. The defender just managed to get his foot in and deflect it just past the post, so really unlucky. But then in the 76th minute we got our 4th goal, and it was Majid Bouguera.
Stuart McCall working hard to keep his team focused. Doesn't want to suffer more. Already 3 down. Here's Davis and Fleck. And in off Hutchinson, it's an own goal. Had to go for it, the youngster, because he knew had Fleck's pass got through, Jelavic was on a hat-trick. Make that 4-0.
There was a sort of high ball played into the Rangers half. Bouguera wins the header, heads it down to Steve Davis right in the centre of the park, and he just kept running and kept running. He gets to the edge of the box. Defender comes in. He spots John Fleck to his left-hand side. He passes the ball to the on-running Fleck, who hits a low cross sort of shot, and it's bundled in off of the Motherwell defender. Own goal. That made it 4-0 to Rangers. Regardless if the Motherwell defender got on it or not, Jelavic was right at his back, so he would have been an easy tap-in for him regardless. So 4-0 to Rangers. And at that point Motherwell were just all over the place, and just another 3 minutes later,
Davis, Healy, clever pass for Whittaker, In goes Gunning. Desperate measures from Motherwell to try to get that clear, but still they're hemmed in. Flex cross. Gunning again. Murphy tries to get it further away from the danger zone. Back in from Weir. Papash with the header, and Jelavic has a hat-trick. His shot slithers under Darren Randolph, who's furious with his defence for failing to get that clear. And Jelavic has his first hat-trick for Rangers.
Motherwell just could not clear the ball. It just kept coming into the box. They were trying everything. It was trying to get it away with heads, trying to get it away, dodgy, deflected crosses, in and out, all over the place. And eventually the ball falls to Papac on the edge of the box. He guides his header to Jelavic, who on the volley, Jelavic hits a shot. Really poor goalkeeping by Darren Randolph, because he didn't hit it hard at all, and it just sort of slipped right underneath the goalkeeper and into the net to make it 5-0 to Rangers and giving Jelavic his hat-trick. And then to round it all off, a dream debut for David Healy. It was him that gets the 6th goal.
5-0 and Rangers might not be finished. Whittaker to Bugera. That's come off Craigan. It's Healy! It's a dream debut for David Healy, and it's goal number 6 for Rangers. Craigan's mistake punished by his international teammate, and Healy's first appearance for Rangers couldn't have gone any better.
On the 83rd minute, Stephen Whittaker on the right hand side, ball to Bugera, who'd kept running, who's sort of doing his Amoruso-esque run up the field on the right hand side. He turned his man at the edge of the box and goes for a shot. The commentator says it was a pass, but I'm sure he was going for the shot. He hits the shot, the defender sort of half clears it, but it falls straight to David Healy, and he thumps it in at the back post to make it 6-0 to Rangers. Absolutely fantastic for him. The only other notable point of this game, Derek, that I completely forgot about was a player who was playing for Motherwell at that point was the fox in the box, Francis Jeffers. Remember him?
I do, yes.
He was playing for Motherwell. He was actually quite unlucky because he was brought down in the edge of the box, and when I first seen it I thought it was possibly a penalty. They didn't get it, but from the free kick it was going right in the top corner, but another phenomenal save by Alan McGregor to give him his clean sheet and preserve Rangers' 6-0 victory. So fantastic game to watch, some great players, a lot of them still playing, and I think just going back, it's maybe the last time we can really say that we had a really, really outstanding striker, Derek, and Nikica Jelavic. He was fantastic. I think we all sort of forget how good the guy was, but he was, he was the real deal, and certainly somebody that we could be doing with the now, somebody with his ability. But fantastic, some great players on show. Steve Davis, absolutely outstanding, still is absolutely outstanding. And as I say, the debut for David Healy, scoring on his debut, you can't ask for more than that. Something that I'm sure I'll stay with him for the rest of his days. So, like I say, each week if you get the chance, go back and watch it. It wasn't that long ago, but to be able to see some of the players that we had playing then, it was a joy to watch. So outstanding, really pleased with that one.
Yep, and when I was watching it back, I mean, certainly Motherwell had their chances as well.
Yep.
It wasn't just a 6-0 and they were shit. So
I honestly can't remember Francis Jeffers playing for Motherwell, Derek. If I was to be asked that in a quiz question, which of these clubs did Francis Jeffers play for and Motherwell came up, that's certainly no one that I would have said that it was. I can't remember that. Can you remember him?
No, I
played for Motherwell.
I was watching it, and I was the commentator said Francis Jeffers, and I was like, he wasn't playing for Rangers at that time, was he? So
exactly. So I know I can't remember that at all. So there you go. No, like I say, if you get the chance, certainly go back and give that one a wee watch. It was a joy. Some of the goals we scored were excellent.
Yep. So, we'll go now into the news.
From From ITN, the ITV News at 10 with Trevor McDonald.
First one we've got here, obviously Miller. We did say earlier on that Miller is facing a lengthy spell out in the sidelines with a ruptured hamstring. Dorrans has been ruled out for up to 3 months after ankle surgery, and he limped off after the 1-1 draw with Kilmarnock in October. So,
aye, that's been a bit of a nightmare. Again, a player that we had high hopes for, Derek, and turned it on slightly, but was quite disappointing. And then obviously more disappointment in getting this injury that's going to leave him out for quite a while. So, aye, that's a bit of a nightmare for us, because we could be doing with some extra players in midfield, because we're really, pretty short in that department, aren't we?
Yep. Next section, or the next 3 bits, is the litigation section of the news here. Former player Bilal Mojni is suing former club Tunisian side ES Sahel for £1.1 million. He left the club in September after winning a dispute over unpaid salary, and now he's going after that unpaid salary. So just don't get him on the field and watch his fists.
Exactly. I was going to say, I wonder what his disciplinary, if that's getting any better. But he was a bit of a mentalist, wasn't he?
He showed flashes of brilliance and just mainly craziness. So
yes, totally.
Next one here is former administrator David Whitehouse has been given the go-ahead, and dates have been set for his £9 million compensation claim he's going after by suing the Chief of Police and a law lord, basically claiming that police and prosecutors didn't follow correct legal procedure when carrying out the investigation to him. Claims he has lost earnings and reputation over it. Obviously an ongoing case, don't want to speak too much about it, but just that's the mindset of the people who we had as our administrators.
Exactly. Yep.
Following on from that, the Crown Office have revealed it cost £1.5 million during the course of the Craig White trial. That includes the cost of £438,000 of our taxpayers' money going towards legal aid to that twat.
Yep.
Let that sink in. So
exactly.
The last piece of kind of Rangers-related news here is just a really heartwarming, heartbreaking, really touching video that Josh Windass put up. It was a video relating to youngster Finlay Sangster, who suffers from cerebral palsy, and was really struggling to play FIFA due to mobility issues, and he has to have round-the-clock care because of his mobility issues. It was just a really touching and really tear-jerking story about his struggles, and obviously BA British Airways getting involved to give him help in that respect, and Josh Windass came and gave him his customised controller so he could play FIFA, and
fantastic.
Sent his mum and dad away to New York for an anniversary
brilliant
holiday, and it was a fantastic video to watch, and it's good to see and heartwarming.
Excellent.
To see that kind of happen.
Yep, absolutely fantastic, good stuff.
Yep. Next story I've got here is Juventus star issues apology to 12-year-old Napoli supporter for a brutal comment he made in social media.
Okay.
Stefano Sturaro, I think that's his pronunciation, was allegedly insulted by the young Napoli fan who are rivals of the team Juventus. Sturaro responded, "Sit down or I'll embarrass you to such a degree that you'll cry for 3 days. Go and play with your Pokemon and stop bothering me, you retard. Go cry to your mother, you damn child. Actually, I'm at home with your mother."
I was kind of expecting that to come out there, and I'd been to my son about the wee boy's mum.
Generally, if he knew how old he was and he comes away with stuff like that, that's just unbelievable incompetence for a football player.
Quite funny though.
Oh, definitely funny. But right.
Here we go. Derek's deep indulgence into the world of perverse and strangeness about to come up now.
The myth of the Kraken. Me and my now ex-boyfriend were fooling around in bed. I thought it was going to lead into some sex, but instead he grabbed my lady lips and started opening and closing it and saying, "Release the Kraken." What
even kind of story is that?
This is 18 bizarre sex stories that will make you think twice about having sex again.
Okay.
That was number 1.
Right. Smash my pasties. Still number 1, mate.
Definitely. My husband came home after a long day at work and we had amazing sex. I noticed him slow down after a while and then he just stopped completely. Turns out he fell asleep, still holding my tits and squeezing them in his This one's titled The Dedicated Lover. I had the Mortal Kombat ringtone on my phone. As me and my ex-boyfriend were doing the deed, my phone rang. He stopped, looked at my phone, and then he said, "Finish her," and then kept going.
Finish her! Oh, Dave, mate.
The Raspberry. I invited a guy over who had bragged about how good he was at going down on a girl. Once he got to my place and things started to heat up, he went down on me, and the fantastic move that made him so good was to blow a raspberry on my vagina.
There you go, 101 sex tips, Derek. Right, I forgot that's you finished now that there's children on the way. That's it. You can only think about these things now.
Exactly, these are the stories that I get my kicks from.
What website are you getting these for, Derek?
No, a very good one.
I think I preferred Big Donk's version of Mid-Stroke. That was probably a bit. What was the song again?
So, Dave and I had this workmate, and he liked to share.
True story.
Yes, he liked to share some stories sometimes, and we didn't really want to hear them, but he didn't care anyway. So I was in the kitchen making my supper one night, and a song came on the TV. So it was Peter Gabriel's Salisbury Hill, and he says, "Oh, I remember the first time I heard that song. I was with a girl doing the deed, and I had to stop mid-stroke because I thought the song was so good."
And now that song's completely ruined every single time we hear it. Oh, the man was a legend, wasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. So if you ever hear of the name Donk get talked about by me and Dave, that's what we're talking about.
And we could tell you some stories about him, trust me.
We might rename this section called the Donk section.
Aye. Hearing about folk shitting their cell and stuff like that.
So, after that disgusting story, we wrap up the pod. So, as ever, we have got our Twitter, which is @iReadyPod. Facebook is facebook.com/iReadyPod. Our YouTube channel has now been renamed. It's youtube.com/c/iReadyPodcast, I believe. We reached over 100 subscribers, so thanks very much for that, and we'll always have content on that as well. We have an Instagram as well, and our website is ireadypodcast.wordpress.com. So,
check them out.
Yes. So thanks for listening, and we are the people.
Yeah, take care. Hopefully the results will start to get better again, and I keep saying it every week, but keep believing. Goodbye.
Bye.
Just rough as a badger's arse, mate, still.